Just watched a part of a webinar for Bob Proctor, my mentor. If you don't know Bob, Bob is the world's foremost leader in personal growth and development. And why is that? Because he's been at it for the longest. He's the, yes, goodness, Bob just turned a ripe young age of 87 years old last week. And he's my mentor. He's who taught me everything about the material that I'm sharing here. I'm a Bob Proctor certified coach, and today he unleashed the gold as far as how to make $1 million look small. So the title of the webinar is Making $1 Million Look Small in 5 Days. And I'm going to share with you a few takeaways from that webinar, and I'll come back here a few times and share more on this, okay? So here's the deal. He started off by asking a question about how much money you've ever earned. So it's a good question to ask yourself. What's the most you've ever earned? Now, you're only watching this if this topic has you lit up a little bit or a little bit curious. So if you're with me this long, then just pay attention, because the guy knows how to attract millions, okay? He's been doing it for decades and decades. And I know a little bit about this as well. So start off with a question is, how much have you ever earned? And then ask the second question is, well, how much do I want? Absent of any circumstances or outside conditions. In other words, how much do I want? Don't let the paradigm swoop in and then squash your dreams. It's literally a question. How much do I want to live the life of my dreams? So how much have I ever earned? Write that down. And secondly, how much do I want? The other concept, so that you can get clear on that. This is a matter of crystal clear vision of the amount you want. If you've never done the exercise before, it's time to do it. If you do want to have more money, take a notepad out, write down a list of all the things that you currently pay for, and then continue to write out and include now some things that you want to have in your life. If it's the oceanfront home, put that on there. If it's the dream car, put that on there. If it's 5 vacations a year, put that on that notepad. Write it all down. And then the right side, write down what that would cost. So all of your expenses you have, and then continue to list the items that you want. This is just a drop it all on the paper. This is not, don't think about the how part. That's the part you got to leave out of the equation. This is super important, okay? So how much have I ever earned before? And then how much do I want to earn to live the life of my dreams? He talked about goals and how important goals are. Most people don't set goals, and you can't hit a target that you don't have. Goals are critical. Goals are important for the soul. So you have to have a target in order to hit it. If you don't have a financial target, how can you possibly ever hit a target that doesn't exist? So that's the second thing. As far as goals go, I'll give you a little secret here. It's something that I share in my coaching program. And by the way, I did a webinar on paradigms, because ultimately underneath it all, what's going to prevent you from doing the things that the person that would make $1 million a year, for example, is either going to be an empowering paradigm or a disempowering paradigm. And so that is what is going to allow you to forge ahead towards the goal of earning that type of income, or hold you back and keep you boxed in. And the webinar I did, click on the link within this to watch that free recorded webinar. Okay, goal cards. Let's talk about how important those are. Carry one in your pocket. So he says the instructions are as follows. This is something I share in my coaching program as well. Write down the goal, something you want desperately, not desperately, but really, really, really want it. What is it you really want? Write it on the goal card. Carry it in your pocket and review it often. How often? Daily. How many times a day? Several times a day. That's the magic of the goal card. Bob Proctor he's been carrying goal cards now for 50 years, right in his pocket. His mentor was Earl Nightingale, who taught him the concept of a goal card. And Earl Nightingale was mentored by none other than Napoleon Hill. So this stuff works because it has worked because we're working on the immutable laws of the universe here. So now we're talking about clarity, we're talking about goal setting, and I shared with you the paradigm, which is underneath it all is you will attract to you who you are. You will attract to you who you are. And so in order to lock into that type of money, you have to lock into wealth consciousness. And so he talked a lot about that and not letting your current paradigms stop you. And there's ways to prevent them and remove the old, replace with the new. If you want to know more about this, click on the link, and also watch the webinar. You're going to learn more there about the paradigm and what it does and how you can use it to your benefit by replacing the old and infusing with the new. So those are the few concepts I learned today in the webinar. I'm going to come back a little bit later, but the goal setting one is massively important. And then also detaching yourself from current conditions. Don't let your circumstances actually control you and your emotions. And that's a hard one. It's a hard one until you're trained to do so. Because basically what you're seeing in front of you, you're using your five senses. What I see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. Well, if that's all you're using, you're simply just observing. Well, what you have gotten thus far, the thoughts you've had thus far up to today have led you to where you are. And so naturally, we must logically conclude that in order to have different results in our life, in our homes, in our relationships, in our bank accounts, we must have different thoughts. It's because it's from our thoughts that our ideas come. In order to have a different result, we need to have different ideas. And so we need to become emotionally involved in only things that we want. We can't spend 1 minute. We cannot spend 1 minute, 1 ounce of energy, time, effort in thinking about things that are disharmonious to our goals. And why is that? Because our mind is a thought machine. That's its purpose, is to think. And that which we think, we impress. What do we impress it on? We impress it on subconscious mind. Wallace Wattles wrote a book titled The Science of Getting Rich, and all through it, he says the same thing over and over again. He refers to the thinking stuff. That's his way of describing spirit. There's a great power that flows to and through us. It has no form. We have the ability to give it. In other words, it just is. It's a great power flowing to and through us, and it just is. And it has no form. We have the ability to give it form by impressing emotionalized thought in a repetitive manner over and over and over again, living in that state, feeling the wish fulfilled, which means I feel the goal achieved now, not later. It's done. In my mind, it's already done. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my soul, and it's completely done. You can't put off the feeling until you have it, which is the biggest fallacy of the whole process of people that are trying to get rich or earn more money or live in an abundant way. Feel it now, okay? Goal cards, paradigms. Click on the link and watch the webinar if you want to know more, and I'll see you soon.